thing I think that's important about the Church Committee is it asked the right questions. And I think the two fundamental questions were, should America adopt the tactics of the enemy? It's a question of today also. But that was a real issue, and we concluded it shouldn't, but there had been a great deal of adopting those tactics by our secret government. And the other major question was, should the American...
Oh, wait a minute here. I just heard something. Our secret government. Here's Frederick Schwartz, okay, Chief Counsel, former Church Committee. Just say the secret government. Did everyone hear that? I'm sure that you did. Let's continue on.
The facts are, and the whole, our work was entirely devoted to helping the American people know what the facts are. And the final thing in the sort of this opening, the Church Committee, as both of you said, it's important to have a strong FBI and a strong CIA. The question is, what are they going to do? And taking the FBI, Roosevelt started them off in the wrong direction by asking them to investigate subversion, a word that has no content and has no limits. And subversion was the excuse of investigating and attempting to destroy Martin Luther King, for example. Well, in our final reports, we said what the FBI should be doing is looking at espionage and terrorism, and there we were a little ahead of the times, looking at espionage and terrorism instead of subversion.
We now have FISA in place, the law you referred to, for, what, 25 years? I think almost many attorneys general, many FBI directors, many CIA directors said that these laws work very well. They were able to do what they wanted to do. The idea behind getting warrants was not to hold back law enforcement officers from doing what had to be done, but making certain there was a judge there just to be sure they didn't go beyond what was legal and right and appropriate, and because of the history we had seen. And so I believe there's this constant debate, which we hear today, that if you obey the law, you're weak. That there's something that the founders of America did that intentionally made us impotent in the face of our enemies. I don't think that's true at all. The Constitution, the laws, the power of the Congress, the President, under the law, gives us the full panoply of power that is needed, both in secret and in public. But it does it without allowing human nature in a position of unaccountable power, which, when not observed, we found to our despair time and time again over American history, there's something about us that we tend to do more than we should if we're not being watched.
The key to the Church Committee was developing the facts, because if you don't have the facts, you don't know you can't know the truth. And statements, general statements that are made by administration officials then or today, often are devoid of real facts. And taking the NSA, it was a perfect example of a phenomenon that we saw all the time, which is if you have a program, a intelligence agency's program, that may start out with a narrow and rather valid purpose. And the NSA started getting every single cable that was sent overseas for a quite valid purpose, which was to be able to obtain and then decode encrypted messages that were being sent by foreign embassies. I mean, nobody's going to think that's a bad thing to do. But what happened with the NSA happened with all the other agencies, that because they were immune from any oversight, because they believed what they were doing would always be secret, what started small expanded from the acceptable to the unacceptable. So NSA, starting with looking at the encrypted messages of foreign embassies, ends up looking at the messages by anti-Vietnam War protesters in this country and civil rights leaders in this country. And that's a perfect example of mission creep. It shows why you can't rely on generalizations coming from people defending their programs, but find out what the real facts are.
So it's a bipartisan bill that goes to the agencies, asks them, what do you need now? What kind of changes in this 25-year-old law do you feel you need to allow you to do what you must do to protect America, but still do it within the law, still have some accountability? And that law has about 14 different points, all of them reasonable. Sure, we should adjust it. Sure, we should make it work. But we have a big stake as America in guaranteeing that our system of constitutional law is sustained. Every big power that was around when America was formed decided its future was to be found in some kind of imperial, magisterial power with no rights to the citizens. We started with the idea that this would be a government of the people, by the people, and under the laws of our country. Read the oath of office of the President. Read the Constitution. Read the Federalist Papers. We wanted a government that was accountable. And that has made America, I believe, more than anything else, the greatest and the strongest nation on earth. And we lose something when we take lightly this idea of constitutional and legal rights of our people.
Absolutely. We definitely lose our constitutional rights. This is Freedom Fighters for America Radio, Take Back America series, and we're going to go on a short break and let people take a little break from this, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Freedom Fighters for America Radio, Take Back America series. At this particular point, I'm wondering if Al would be would grace us with a blessing. He's very good at that.